Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Yes, it's your girl here, Prosela, with yet another video for you. And yes, if you're new to my channel, I welcome you with a warm hug. Thank you for tuning in, for checking me out. I really appreciate. Yeah, so I request you not only to do that but also subscribe to my channel, comment on my videos, like them, share them out, and I really appreciate that. And of course, for those who have been following me for some time now, I don't take you for granted. Thank you, guys. Thank you for showing me love. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you very much. May the Almighty bless you and give you what your heart yearns for this 2023. So yes, so guys, today I'm going to be telling you about how I lost my dad and how COVID was the root cause of his death, I would say. Yes, it's quite an emotional episode, but you'll forgive me where I'll become emotional. It's just part of life, and yes, of course. Yeah, so guys, I think for those who have watched my videos before, I told you I am a Ugandan. Yes, I'm a Ugandan, proudly married here in Kenya, staying with my family here in Nairobi. So it has been 8 years. Yes, in April this year we'll be making 8 years in marriage. I'll be making 8 years in marriage. Yeah, so guys, I lost my dad 2 years ago in 2020. I lost my dad in 2020. It was the most painful experience I would say I have experienced in my life. I have always been, or I was always my daddy's favorite child. He knew me better than anybody else. I would say maybe he knew me well better than my mom. So we were that close. Yeah, he was a tough man, but when it came to me, I was always his little girl. Yes, so guys, I remember it was in 2020 in the month of September. COVID had just struck Africa, maybe I would say that. And I was here in Nairobi with my family when I received a call from my brother, my elder brother actually. And I remember it very well. It was at night. Yes, it was at night. I was preparing dinner for my family when I received the call, and my brother was telling me, Prosy, actually before even he said anything, I had him on call, like he was struggling to talk. He was like someone who was crying and something like that. So then I told him what the problem, I asked him what the problem was, and he was like, you know what, Prosy, Dad is very, very ill. Like, we don't even know if he'll make it tomorrow. He was like, they didn't know if he could make it tomorrow. I was cooking dinner, but when I heard that news, everything stopped there. It's like I froze. I don't know what he said next, but that is what I had in my ears. And then I just put my phone down and I was like, so I believe when he was talking and he didn't hear me responding, he called my hubby. He called my husband and they talked. And my husband, actually, I ran to the bedroom. He came and he was like, I've talked to Sam. Yeah, Sam is my elder brother. I follow him twice. Yes, I follow him twice. So I was like, I've talked to Sam and he's telling me your dad is this and that. So I was actually shedding tears. I was crying. I didn't know what to do. Remember, there was lockdown, and in Uganda the lockdown was very serious. Forget about here in Nairobi. By that time, in Uganda, you were not even, public vehicles were not operating. You would not access the border. First of all, you would not cross over. There was nothing like a inter-country movement. So, and then also there was a county lockdown. Like, you could not cross from one town to another town. Yeah, so there was no public means. Actually, there was nothing like movement by that time. And I'm being told my dad may not even make it tomorrow. I remember that very night I started planning on how I'll get to Uganda. I got my bags. It was at night. I got my bags. I started packing. I was screaming, packing my clothes. Here my son is crying. Oh my God. So the following day, I boarded to Busia. I went town. I got a vehicle to Busia. We arrived at Busia at around 7:30 p.m. I had to book some hotel. I had to pay for a hotel. I slept, and then the following morning, actually I don't remember that hotel, but the security guard really helped me because he got me someone who was willing to take me home. And when that guy came, actually he helped me really big because he took me up to home. Remember, other guys were telling me they were charging me 3,000. They wanted 3,000 Kenyan shillings just to cross me over to the other side, and then I look for my own means of movement, or my own means of getting home. But then this guy that he got me, I actually paid him 2,000 Kenyan shillings, and he took me up to home, like in our compound in the village. So I got home. And my dad was just there sleeping in his bed, restless, helpless, like they were just waiting for his last heartbeat. And I remember that during that time, I mean, like I told you, there was it was the time that COVID was very serious. They had put the measures that they had put to prevent it from accumulating was so high, or it was so hard. Like in Uganda, it was worse. It was very worse. Even when you have a patient, you must go through a lot of processes for you to be allowed to take your patient to the hospital. And then at the same time, given the fact that we are in the village, the nearby hospitals, actually almost all nurses and doctors, they're on strike. They're even fearing patients, and we wouldn't blame them for that, because by that time everyone was just looking after their own health. So I got home, and I remember when I went to my dad and he saw me, remember, he wouldn't do anything. He would not do anything, but I believe he recognized me. Or maybe he recognized my voice, something like that, because he wasn't talking, he wasn't doing anything, like he was just there. But when I looked at him, when I got closer to him, he started shedding tears. I was helpless. I didn't know what to do by that time. I didn't know what to do by that time. My family is not so much well off. I would not even say something like so much well off, but we are not well off. And the person who was actually keeping our family was my dad. My mom was not she was not working. All my brothers, my sisters, yes, we were taken to school, but no job, so they were just at home. And the person who was providing for the family was now bedridden. Like, everyone had lost hope. Everybody had lost hope, because I remember when I got close at him, he started crying, and then I tried like greeting him in his hands, and he held me very tight. He held me very tight. And then, just like any other person, by that time, when I saw my daddy crying, tears just began rolling down my cheeks. I started crying too, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I was like, what do I do now? What next? So that day went. I remember it was on 20, I got home on 26th, so 27th, we woke up in the morning, we went, my dad was so sick. There was some doctor who used to come and give him some medications, like just some drips, some painkillers, like, so I know he was diabetic at the same time. He had high BP, so his temperature, his pressure was fluctuating. It was very high, and just a few minutes it goes very low like that. So yeah. So on 27th, my dad was so very bad. He had reached at that point where I remember some uncles came. At the time, I knew that my dad was not going to make it. Is when they started telling us, like, we should get a few things that can easily be stolen from our sitting room, and then lock them in one room in the house. They're telling us, get a few things from this room and then lock them in one single room in the house. And I knew there was no hope anymore. So that day, in the evening, like, he would get better, like he would get better a little bit, and then recognize some people, something like that, and then gets worse, something like so. His condition actually kept on fluctuating, something like, I would say something like that, and then so you'll forgive me, forgive me for that, but so guys, in that very day, I remember I'd gone to sit next to him. I don't know why, whenever my dad saw me, he started crying. He used to cry any opportunity he got to see me. He kept on crying. And I remember that day, that time when he held my hand, and I asked him, I was like, what is it, Dad? Should I get you a glass of water? And he was like, should I get you juice? And he was like, and I told him, I asked him, okay, should we go to the hospital? And he was like, yes. I was helpless. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And guys, I know I should have done better. Sometimes I blame myself for the death of my dad. At times I blame myself for the death of my dad because he told me to take him to the hospital. But I didn't. Not because I didn't want to, but because there was no means. There was no way I would get him to the hospital. And guys, yes, our family didn't have money. Our family didn't have money. My elder brothers, they're just there. My sisters are just struggling with life. And I've always been the person they have always counted. They have always counted on me for everything. Whatever happened at home, that's always been me. I don't have much, but it has always been me. At that time, my dad was telling me to take him to the hospital. And I did. I did. That was the last communication I had with my dad. My brother, and I called my pastor back home, and I told them, you know what, we need to take dad to the hospital. Let's just try. Let us just try. And they're telling me, Prossy, getting dad out of this bed, we will be just killing him ourselves. Not only that, the roads are so bad. Apart from that, there are no hospitals operating. All doctors are on strike. All nearby hospitals, they aren't operating. But I tried. I insisted. I told them, no, we need to get him to the hospital. Yeah, I remember. The means of transport would also be a problem because there were no cars operating, no vehicles operating by that time. And yes, they promised me, or they told me, they're like, Prossy, it's even already late to start even looking for means. Let's wait tomorrow. Let's pray very hard that by tomorrow he will be still alive with us, and we will try our best to take him to the hospital. And I said, okay. That was 27. It is actually my birthday, 27th of December. And that was the last day I communicated with my dad. Because on 28th, he was no more. He was no more. He passed on at around 5 a.m. in the morning on 28th of September. That was the most horrible things that happened to me during that time. And sometimes I say that if the government had been lenient, or if they had been, they could have gotten other options. Like if someone is sick, why would you put that kind of restrictions? Why would they have to put such harsh measures? People died during that period. I know it was not my dad alone. So many people passed on during that period, and they didn't die of COVID. They died because there was no medication. They died because there was no medication. So guys, I don't know if you too have, I don't know how COVID affected you, but yeah, it was just part of my story, but how COVID claimed the life of my beloved dad indirectly. Yeah, so guys, kindly keep on subscribing to my channel, commenting, liking, and yeah, I'm sorry I cannot continue with this episode because it may not end now. Maybe I'll come back with more. Yeah, if you're new to my channel, I welcome you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, let's grow together, let's grow this channel together, and guys, I really appreciate. Thank you.